I am back with another reaction video. Joey Diaz shouted me out and talked about Chris D'Elia and Bryan Callen on his latest episode of Uncle Joey's Joint. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. Then I'll give you my thoughts on it. Let's see what Joey had to say about me. Mad people told me about this, so figured I had to go check it out. This was from today's episode, I believe.
But I never forgot. I never forgot about this. This last March, let's just say January, some girl decides to get up one day and contact a newspaper and say that some guy was sending her text messages and she was underage or whatever. And it sparked articles in newspapers and it sparked outrage amongst the comedy community, and that's fine. It was the initial hit, you know. Yesterday, my man Siren Z, he does. So what's his name? Cyan's cool motherfucker, love him to death. Makes me laugh. Even though sometimes he talks shit about me, I still laugh because what he's saying is with a smile on his face. He has
Yes,
no
yes, it is. Joey Diaz showing love, like in the old country.
in his heart. He's just reporting what he said. But yesterday he put up a video that I knocked down Chris D'Elia, which it was put up by a producer to get hits. I did not call out D'Elia. I did not say anything wrong.
The reason why I titled that video that is because he called him out in the sense that he was like, get back out on stage. Like, that's how he called him out. And that's the way I took it, at least.
About D'Elia, what I said was who I was keeping in touch with in LA still, who I'm still friends with, Bert, Tom. Today I talked to Eddie Bravo. He was the funniest. He goes, Joey, I saw the pictures of your stitches in the paper and the internet. He goes, how long was the surgery? I go, 4 hours. He goes, that's a lot of fucking stitches. He goes, were you up for it? I go, oh, yeah. They gave me a gram of Coke. And I fucking talked it out with the doctor. I told him what to cut, what not to cut. I go, yeah, Eddie. They put me to fucking bed. When did they gonna leave me awake like that for fucking 100 stitches? Yeah, just give him a gram of Coke. We'll work out the rest. I'm just sitting there, move that toe. You know, the fuck is wrong with people? I told everybody I talked to, Eddie, I talked to Lee, and I check in with D'Elia from time to time. And the reason why I check with D'Elia from time to time is now I'm going to tell you my story and you could decide on what the fuck you want to do with it. I went back to the store in 2013. I had never met Chris D'Elia before that. I had seen him a couple times at the Laugh Factory with Dane Cook and the Improv. Fucking very funny, very energetic. Always had 2 broads with him. All right, not 1, but 2. Loved it. Good-looking girls. You know, they looked of age. I don't know
Chris D'Elia, man with the ladies.
what age looks like, but these girls looked of age. They were drinking, whatever, you know. Over the years, we became tighter at the store. You know, I'd see him at the store. I'd have to follow him. It was like following a fucking hurricane. But I did it. I didn't give a fuck. Sometimes I ate a bag of shit. But I always talked to him. I always gave him love. I always winked at him before I went on stage. I never did a lunch with him. I never had a dinner with him. But while we were at the Comedy Store together, we did talk. And we had some interesting conversations about touring and whatnot. And once he got his girlfriend, he stopped bringing girls around. So I would see him and I'd go, come here for a second. What are we, fucking switching governments? What, did you become gay all of a sudden? Where's the broads? Every night, that was part of me going down there to see the 2 broads D'Elia was going to show up with. It was fucking great. Once he got the girlfriend, he fell in love, he got serious, and there wasn't 2 broads anymore. So I didn't see nothing for 3 or 4 years, 2, 3 years. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing this friend, who I call a friend of mine, getting bombarded with all this shit. But I also saw the next day, when he got the other end of the emails to protect themselves and whatnot, people didn't want to see him. He had already been convicted, judged, and executioned by a bunch of people that had the power not even to do that. You don't have the power to do that. Now let's take, like I said before on this podcast 1,000 times, let's take our boy Ron Jeremy. I know Ron Jeremy is a porno guy. Do I watch pornos? No. I worked at Commander Video and Captain Video in Aspen in 83 and 84, and people, and I had 2 rows of a porno section, and women and guys would always come in and say if I had any Ron Jeremy tapes. And one day I finally threw them in, and I'm like, who's this fucking greasy bastard? And that's all I knew of Ron Jeremy. And one day I moved to LA and I saw him at Bank of America. Did I run up to him and say hello? No, I don't give a fuck. He's probably got fucking sticky hands from sperm and fucking dirty pussy and shit. Yeah. I don't know nobody. I don't say hello to the guy. Then I start seeing him at the fucking store, okay? And he says hello, goodbye, how you doing, whatever. I don't see him again. Then one day I do a podcast with the pimp from Vegas, and he shows up with him, and he plays the harmonica, and I got a kick out of him. I got a kick out of Ron Jeremy. I didn't know what his life was about, and it's not like I took a picture. I need to take a picture and post it. No, I just knew Ron Jeremy. He was a nice guy, and that's it.
Yeah, Joey's moving a lot.
And when one day I'm reading about all these allegations against Bryan, against, Chris, against, everybody and their mother, and Ron Jeremy gets arrested for rape, and they got him. And I didn't know anything about Ron, but again, from going to jiu-jitsu, I have 2 dear jiu-jitsu friends that are involved in the porno business, so I asked them about Ron Jeremy, and boy, did they have a mouthful to tell me. And you know what? After about a week, I made a conscious decision. I didn't want any problems. No company, no sponsor told me. I did it because I'm not comfortable with rape. I took the podcast that he was on down. It wasn't.
Damn, so that was a Joey Diaz decision because he believes the accusations against Ron Jeremy.
Lee, it wasn't DraftKings, it wasn't CBD Lion. I did it because it's rape. Okay, it's a complete different fucking thing. Now I got Callen was on my podcast a few times. Did he get convicted of rape? No. If you guys are hating him already as a rapist, I don't see the conviction. I don't see the paperwork. I don't see fucking anything. And from my side, I got to see something. I don't know what's going on there. I haven't heard from Bryan in 3 weeks. I've spoken to Sam, and he keeps me going with what's going on in LA right now. I do check in with Chris. We spoke Christmas week. We spoke New Year's, and New Year's I unleashed. I said, brother, that's it. It's enough of fucking waiting. It's enough of wait. Aren't you sick of just standing there and having people point their fingers at you? You're my brother. I hate to see you fucking hurt. Start this podcast. Tell your story. That's what I said. I said, tell your story and start this podcast. And the quicker you tell the story and the quicker you start this podcast, it's going to take you 6 months to a year. It took Louis C.K. a couple of years to get his footing back. I'm not mad at Louis C.K. He took his dick out and showed it to a couple of fucking broads. What do you want from me? I wasn't in the room.
What do you want from me?
And neither were you.
One dog looks that way, the other dog looking that way, and the guy's going, what do you want from me?
Did you read any of these Bryan Callen? Were you there when Bryan raped anybody or supposedly forced himself on these women? Were you? Me neither. As far as Bryan Callen's Chris D'Elia is concerned, I have a kid. I have a wife, and 60% of my best friends are women. From Felicia to Kate Quigley to Lisa Tizio to Lisa Gallo, all over the place. I have girls that are my friends here that were best friends. I'm not. I wouldn't be happy with somebody texting them when they were underage, but there is a thing called a mistake, and I know Chris D'Elia. I know Chris. I know where his heart is, and I could tell you that this doesn't sound like the Chris I know. So because of that reason, was why I was applauding him and why I was trying to give him a lift. And let's pretend for the sake of argument that Chris did send a fucking tweet to a fucking girl. Guys, there's a lot of crazy people on that internet. There's a lot of crazy women on that internet that have a lot of shit to say. I'm 58 and I look at it and go, whoa, that's a little too real for me. But I've seen some shit on the internet from some young girls that are just crazy. We all have. We don't know what a 16-year-old girl looks like, or a 17-year-old girl, or 18 fucking year old girl. I know for a fact that one of the fucking happiest days of my life was when I read that Ray Dong Chang admitted that she fucked Mick Jagger when she was 15 or 16 and
Ray
was not
Don
married.
Chong.
You know, Felicia used to have a friend, I forget what her name was, real.
Okay, so that was Joey Diaz discussing me and defending Bryan Callen and Chris D'Elia. You can go check out the rest. Like I said, it's free. It's up on YouTube. It's the latest one he dropped of Uncle Joey's joint. It's about 20 minutes in. So, first of all, I accept all the praise he gives me. I am hilarious in every way. But and I generally agree with him when it comes to Chris D'Elia and Bryan Callen. And I can't believe Chris D'Elia, at least Bryan Callen. See, maybe Chris D'Elia sees everything being taken away from Bryan Callen. But Bryan Callen is still pushing forward, and he did do that lawsuit against the lady's husband. I don't know, but let me know your thoughts in the comments.